welcome to Final Fights. I am Mark Memphis Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Adam, the Yodeler Hodgins.
I know it's unconventional to yodel whenever I boost a car, but I'm gonna do it anyway. It's my trademark, and I'm gonna do it anyways. So it makes my success rate go plummeting down, but it keeps my street cred up somehow.
You failed at 90% of your car boosts.
Right. I can only boost cars that have holes in the mufflers, so they're louder than my yodeling.
Or by very loud areas, like concert halls.
Right. I'm good at stealing from the airport.
Well, yeah. You wait for, like, when there's arena, amphitheaters, that's where you steal cars by.
Exactly.
You wait for a guitar solo, and then you have to do it.
Then you gotta do it. When Slash is playing, your car is gone.
Listen, he's a liability, but he's a dang fine driver.
That's right. Get me behind the wheel. I can't be touched, but getting to the car before the yodeling happens, it's rough.
I gotta tell you, it says something about who you are as a person that I called you Adam the Yodeler Hodgins, and you immediately didn't even consider being a villain. You considered yourself being a good person, and I like that about you, man. I like that you never once just thought, hey, I'm like Calitri over here. I'm like number 9, the doctor.
No.
I'm Christopher Eccleston pulling this stuff. You just said that you're a good dude, and that's what you do.
I'm a dark elf stealing cars.
So, the last final fight we did was Thor: The Dark World, and that's not the best final fight. But there's a lot of interesting moments in it. I mean, anytime you have Darcy running around and Mew Mew and a few gags, like, you're going to have a good time.
If I remember that correctly, that was just a lot of Thor jumping.
That's it. That's right? Funny.
Not a lot of punching.
It's funny you said that because that's all he does. And there's one solid punch from Malekith the Accursed. And actually, in this fight, there's really not that many punches between... So, I gotta say, Raymond Calitri, played by Christopher Eccleston, and Memphis Raines, played by Nicolas Cage. So, there's a lot of... It opens up with a punch, kick, chair punch, jump.
Yep.
Well, the chair is used to punch Eccleston. And then it's just Eccleston shooting at Cage. I have a theory.
Talk to me.
Okay, you ready for this? Raymond Calitri. Raymond the Carpenter Calitri.
Yep.
Hates steam pipes.
Oh, he hates them.
He shot 6 of them in this scene.
Yeah, he's like the jerk. He hates those cans.
He hates those steam pipes.
I'm going to say this, Mark. I would say that this movie has a final confrontation more than a final fight.
Yeah.
But again, I think, like, when you look at Eccleston and Thor, like the King of the Elves, the Dark Elves, and Thor in Thor: The Dark World, those are 2 incredible fighters, and they're not really having a great fight.
Yeah.
Both the Carpenter and Memphis have never been touted as being great fighters. One's a business, like a crime boss, and one's a car thief. They never got to their prowess by being fighters. So I feel like this final confrontation, it's very visceral, because it would be like me getting into a fight. I don't know how to fight. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I think I'd be throwing punches wrong, and I'd be more scared. Like, I think both these guys play a little bit nervous about getting the fight more than like a Schwarzenegger or Stallone. We're like, we're going to go into this and we're going to just, it's going to be what it's going to be. I think they both go in unprepared. But I'm going to say that this movie has what I call the Delroy Lindo equation.
Ooh.
All right.
I like it.
And it shares it with The One.
Yes.
Where it's also Delroy Lindo, and there's the protagonist and the antagonist, but then there's a cop who's a third party for some reason, who's just hanging out.
Yep.
And he's like the guy in high school when you're like hanging out with the girl that you kind of have a crush on, and you guys are kind of like flirting a little bit, but then there's just some bro who's hanging out who just wanted to leave so you can be alone and get things going on. But Delroy Lindo, he's just there, and he's like, I'm going to get you, Raines, but he also wants to get, the Carpenter. So it's just this weird like triangle dance where you can't really have a one-on-one confrontation because of the Delroy Lindo equation.
And then you have the Timmy Ollie equation where you have a friend that's like, hey, I'm going to go grab some food. You want some? Yeah. And then they never come back.
That's how they wrote him off screen. Have him get a hot dog.
You want some coffee, Delroy?
Right? What do you think? I'm also going to say why I like this final fight so much was I think that there was more character development in the Carpenter in this final fight than there was in the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Raymond the Carpenter Calitri is one of the... I love Eccleston, but he's one of the worst villains I've ever seen on screen in a major motion picture. Is that fair?
100%.
He's all gimmick. This character is all gimmick. And all they do is tell you how bad he is, which I hate. You never, ever see him being bad. Ever. Never.
You only see him compromising.
Exactly. Yeah, hey, I got your brother here. We're going to kill him because he screwed me over, but you have to help. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to kill you if you don't. And he's always making deals. And he's never...
Always making deals.
I hate villains. Not hate, that's a strong word. I just like villains that they're just... You better watch out for old Adam the Yodeler Hodgins. He'll rip your face off. And then someone's like, yeah, right. I heard he ripped 8 people's faces off last week. And then when you meet him, when we meet you, you're like, yodelay, 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 okay, you failed me once. Don't fail me again. And then you're the good guy walking away and you're like, wait, I thought he was going to rip my face off, but he gave me another chance. I'm moving to Texas. He doesn't live up to his Carpenter. And also, we've done carpentry before. You've done carpentry, I've done carpentry, correct?
We've all done carpentry before.
Yeah. The stuff he's making is countless hours. So this man is sitting in a boiler room with a lot of pipes that he hates, and he is just sanding his chairs and his coffins.
The amount of time he put into that coffin for a 2-minute bit.
Yes.
Right? Like, that coffin had interior material work. It had cushioning. It had brass handles. It had, it was finished. It was fit and finished, ready to go. It wasn't like in the old Westerns where he's made a pine coffin. And he's I think that would have worked better in that moment of listen, I got a box for you if you don't fail me. But he's put no less than 150 hours into that coffin. Yeah.
No, the cherry wood, the finishing, and if it's one person, at least 150. At least.
150 hours.
Yeah.
For a 3-second bit of if you don't do what I want you to do, I've got this box ready for you.
And then he falls into it.
But there wasn't 150 hours between when the job was failed and Memphis Raines got involved. So who did he actually make that coffin for?
He just walks people in there and threatens them with it.
That's his go-to bit. Is I got this coffin that I've never used, but one time someone's right.
So you're Johnny One Thumb and I'm Hank Two Fingers, and we're talking. And we're like, hey, did Calitri show you the coffin? Yeah, he showed me the coffin, and then he gave me one more chance. What about you? Same.
I want to make a thing, Mark, where if I was Johnny One Thumb.
Yep.
And you were what? Terry Two Fingers?
Yep. Something like that.
So we only work jobs together, and when people ask us why, we say because 1 and 1 make 3.
And no one knows what that means.
No one gets it. It's like a obscure reference to our left hands. It's super weird.
And they always hang with the yodeler.
Yeah, the yodeler. So that's the thing is I'm the yodeler, but I'm also my own henchman. So no one's actually ever seen the yodeler.
Whoa, that's some Braga stuff right there.
Right? That's what I'm talking about.
That's some Fast and Furious Braga.
So, but I want to say what you're saying about Eccleston is a guy who never really it's all gimmick and it's all hearsay. It's such a drastic difference, and it's almost like a parallel scene. Remember Christoph Waltz in The Green Hornet?
Yeah, oh, that's hilarious.
But he's like, this gun, is it too scary? I got 2 barrels. And then he just shoots that guy. It's just why do you need to believe that I am terrifying, so I'll shoot you. He was building his cred to the audience and almost winking at the camera saying I am serious.
Whoa, what about this?
Talk to me.
The initial scene where Memphis Raines has to go save Kip Raines. And this is before they've gone to Sarasway Wayland. This is before they've met Tumbler and Freb and Atlee Jackson. This is before Drykoff, Detective Drykoff. Before we met Otto, before the Spinks, any of those people.
Yeah.
When Memphis first meets the Carpenter, they're talking. He's like, oh yeah, you owe me your life and you owe me 50 cars and your brother messed up. One of his henchmen goes to sit down in one of the Adirondack chairs that he's made.
Yeah.
And it just breaks because maybe it wasn't finished or maybe it was something faulty in the wood and it just shatters. And the henchman is frightened. Whoa, boss, everyone's no one wants to say anything, because was the carpenter's chair bad? The carpenter takes out his gun that we see in that desk, shoots him, puts that gun back in the desk, so when he runs to it during the final fight, we know it's there.
That's a better movie.
And he's killed his henchman, because because, listen, maybe that Adirondack chair wasn't finished, but maybe it was. Either way, he killed his henchman.
Either way, killed his henchman. It doesn't matter. It shows that he's ruthless, he's willing to kill, and he's ready to go. Yep. Now, I'm going to say this to you, Mark. I'm going to say this to you. Let's look at the crew. Okay, we have the whole crew with Memphis Raines.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of Robert Duvall, I think anybody else in the crew would have been a better choice to fight Eccleston at the end.
Interesting, because I gotta say, in this fight though, the front kick from hell that kills good old the carpenter Raymond Calitri is pretty legit, and I do like Nicolas Cage's big jump, and I do like his punch kick, and then he punches Calitri with that. Cage is quite a physical fighter in this, and I think I needed to see him in this final fight to be reminded of how good his kicks are. That said, I would love to see Scott Conn bonk Raymond Calitri on the head with a pipe.
Right? Just comes in and bonks him. You were going to bonk him? I love that. This scene with the old Cadillac is my favorite scene in the movie.
Woo! Go for it. Oh, wait. The Sphinx would just murder Calitri.
Yeah, no. Sphinx needs to be the guy in that fight.
Well, Sphinx would just pull a knife and cut him up like Calitri's body would look like the back of an Adirondack chair.
Yeah, I believe that.
I'm saying Char today. I'm saying Scott. I got some weird stuff going on.
It's okay, because it's all good. It's we make no judgments here.
If I was a villain, I would be Ricky, the fish tank Blahovich.
Okay.
So I would have gigantic fish tanks. So when I killed somebody, I would drop them in there with the fishes.
Ooh, swim with the fishes.
Piranhas. What do you think?
I like it.
They're swimming with the fishes.
I think that's a good bit, because it ties into like a classic trope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would never say swimming with the fishes.
Yeah. No, you never say. It's always implied. It's always implied. I think I would be Stephen the Sahara Williams would be my villain name. And because when I get rid of people, when I knock them off, I just always take them to the desert and bury them up to their neck and leave them.
Yes. I like it.
That's my go-to bit, is I'm just like, time for the Sahara, and we give them the Sahara treatment.
And then you go put a fake cactus over their head.
Well, I go to I would lease from a reasonable person a section of land so I know nobody else would be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just take people out there, and there'd just be skulls from prior victims around. And so then they would be buried up looking at the skulls of everybody else who's wronged me.
But you know what you do, though? You put a shrubbery down with each skull, so when planes fly over, they see a lot of shrubbery, not just skulls petrified in the ground.
Yeah. No, 100%. You got to have some kind of oasis cover there.
We're going to get arrested. This is getting dark.
We just got on a bunch of lists.
Yeah. This final 100%. Fight. Let me ask you a question. So during this final fight, Nick Cage is just bonking on Eccleston. Eccleston runs away. He's looking very svelte, by the way. Eccleston, this might have been his bond.
He was in shape.
Yeah. He's very svelte, is the word I said. So Eccleston gets a gun. Cage jumps over a desk. Very impressive jump. Then later on, so Frank Pisarni's the stunt coordinator on this. He did a good job. He's in tons of stuff. Great driver. The Pisarnis are all drivers. Later on, though, Cage falls through a grate. It's the only grate missing in this area. Raymond the Carpenter Calitri walks up to it, never looks down, and Cage's fingers are just hanging on, and he never notices.
No, he's oblivious. If Memphis Raines is not directly in front of me, he must be dead.
But even